Say something on the phone. Okay. Hey, hey. Yo, yo. Two, one, two, one, two. Cleveland. One, two. Cleveland. Are you ready to rock? I think you should go. Is that the time again? Like refresh it or something? Because it was going live earlier. Yeah, it could be it. Yeah, realize. There you go. So that's your second. Hey, everyone get your read out. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah. Whoa. That's really freaking me out. Dude, you said, I don't know if you'll see a photo too. Yes. Have you seen the new ones yet? They got a new type of they got a new type of picture. New type of like who's that handsome guy down in the bottom?
Hello?
Yo, Dee Murthy. Dee in the heat there. What's good? Look at that.
What's up, brother?
Successful man.
Let me get my see if my headphones work.
Yeah, man. Get into the groove. Yeah. So, hey, Dee, can you hear me? He's not. He's got a confused looking. Can you hear us, Dee? Hello? Can you hear me? Dee, can you hear? You got it on mute, homie. Can you hear us?
Doesn't sound like it's working. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah. But can you hear us?
I can't hear you guys.
Why is that? Because you need to configure your audio to run in the audio settings in Zoom. So where was that at? Give us a second, D. Audio settings.
Let's see here. For some reason, I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, give us 1 minute. We're figuring it out.
Okay, cool.
Testing, testing, 1, 2. Yo, can you hear that? Dee Murthy starting it. Come in, Dee Murthy. Can you hear anything, Dee? Try the other one. Select the left one.
Test, test, test. That should. I saw it going up and down. So it should
You
be-
saw, yo, D.
So if you go down to the bottom, see how you can see the green popping up when we
Yes,
talk?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
You're right. Okay. Hopefully that'll.
God damn, what a bummer.
God damn, what a bummer.
God
So
damn.
Kev's ready to go with the silk jacket.
Oh, dude, what do you think of that
Silk
root
bomber.
beer? Yeah, fucking shit. The root
Look
beer.
at that, that's a satin fucking jacket.
I know, dude. I told
Oh.
him. Oh.
Was it
Hey,
a
D,
bowler?
can you hear us?
D, can you hear us, D?
D Murthy.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
No?
No? Yes, no? Are you listening? Can you hear? I don't know what he's doing.
Testing 1 2. Can you hear us?
Now I hear you guys. I needed my
Awesome.
Very good. Ah,
Damn, bro. Had a sweat.
How do I turn?
Yeah, for some reason it wasn't coming out of the computer audio speakers, the internal speakers.
Hey, D, I tried to tell these guys you're a very successful man. Every second for you is like $1 million.
I've been wanting to get you and Chuma. I've been wanting to introduce you guys forever, man. So today we're
What's up,
gonna
man?
do it a little bit.
Yeah, what's happening, D?
I know. I wish we could do this in person. I'm sorry, my just been hard with the kids. We're just like being extra careful.
Of course, I got a baby too. I got an 18-month-old, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got a 3.5 and a 6-month-old. So
Oh, congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
How's it with 2?
fucking wild. And it's 2 boys, so they're nuts.
Oh man. I don't
Yeah.
envy you, friend.
Yeah, Sean's got 1 son, but he might as well be 3 boys, right?
Right.
Like it's sometimes when I like call Sean and we're like video chatting, I'll see like a race car track throughout his entire house, and his kids just run around with nothing on but underwear with a bunch of cars.
Sometimes not even onion.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Can you hear that, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it.
D, can you hear that?
Hear your voice?
No, this.
Someone saying, bro.
Hold on, let's see if you can hear this. No, he didn't hear
I
that. So this is the sound, Sean, that's coming from my computer.
Check it out.
What
Oh, wait a minute.
do we?
We're gonna
Which one
start
is it
the
coming
show.
from?
It's coming from my laptop that's set up for the sound drops and other bullshit.
That's right.
Okay. D, we're just running one more test and then I think we'll be good to go. 1 second.
Great.
Try this. Did you hear that?
No.
Do you hear like a big Latin guy yelling, bro?
Who? No, I don't think so.
You hear a
It's not
Lepke?
hearing it. It's not going.
Does D know Lepke?
I think he's only seen left.
Oh, dude, that guy. That's it.
Let's keep this show up.
All right. Sean?
Every minute, $1 million in this guy. Bro. That's right.
Yeah, come on, bro.
There
You're
we
taking
go,
money
there
out
we
of
go.
his kids'
Hey,
mouth.
we don't know if you'll hear like the intro, D.
Okay.
I don't know if you hear the musical intro. It'll take a second, but as soon as it's on, then we'll get it here.
Okay.
So you'll just hear us blabber for a minute before.
But that means that wait a second. That means that D might not be able to hear his intro song or my intro song.
Right.
Can you hear that music?
Are you hearing that?
No.
Nope. We doesn't get any of that.
All right, whatever.
How is that even possible?
I mean, you're the audio dude.
There we go.
Here we go.
Hold on.
Look at Steve. I like Steve. Steve. Look at D. You might not ever get a chance to see Steve's face
bro. Are
look
you
pensive
kidding me?
like
That
that.
guy's seen.
What do you mean he's seen
He's
it?
actually seen every face I have.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time together.
Yes, we did.
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
Sean's staring at our control board right now, trying to figure out what other
This is our 100 and what?
56. This will be
And we're still trying to figure it all out.
157 episodes we've run. This is 157,
Amazing.
which is actually 157 is a very special number.
Mm.
Is it turned on, Sean? The little red box?
Well, yeah. I mean, we can hear him, right?
Yeah. Don't give me attitude, bro. Oh my God, bro! You act like I'm causing trouble. I'm the one trying to help. I just asked you if it was on. Damn. Probably yell at you when you try to help him find his keys too,
Come on, man.
huh?
I'm gonna find out a lot today from D.
All right, come on.
A lot of things. Get ready because
Fuck it, let's get started. All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm your certified, qualified West Side host, Steve Lucky Luciano. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the greatest show on earth is the Hard Luck Show. Coming at you live from the bunker in Southern California. Sitting across from me, my co-host, my partner.
Is Chumahan Bowen, American Indian, Southern Californian, elegant barbarian, here to bring you some fucking great fucking shows again.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Do you remember that shit? Come on. Yeah, what you know about that? All right, what you know about that?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, all right.
What's up? We're almost there.
We're almost there.
On sound, Sean Lewis.
Sean Lewis, of course.
Sean Lewis.
Certified
Blue Eye.
professional engineer for the Hard Luck Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo! And who's the intern?
Our intern, Special K, standing by right here with us to help us navigate through this.
He's only smoked 8 joints,
It'll be all right.
right?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
That's
Listen.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Special K.
Here's my song.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Still hungover.
Yeah, he's got that cocaine fever, man.
Yeah.
Hey, be careful, bro.
And yeah, here we are.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
Listen, guys.
Listen.
God, I have been trying to get that guest on for a while. It's a gentleman I worked with. We worked alongside each other as colleagues in the apparel business for goddamn over 20 years. And we kind of watched each other operate from different avenues, and eventually Dee just kind of does what he does. He has all these different visions and levels and things that we're going to do, and he has all the position players, all the players on the team to put this thing together. And I guess he was kind of like, he was keeping his eye on some brands and the right guys to put the right place, and we all came together and started working about 10 years ago.
All right,
And,
name some of the brands, because I know Dee's a very humble man.
Well,
He's not gonna brag, but
First
I
off,
mean, come
this
on.
guy, man,
Tell these young people.
This guy's the founder and owner of 5-4 Denim.
Better recognize.
5-4, man, which is just an LA great denim brand that grew it, just like did amazing things. Him and his partner Andres are just like the smartest, some of the most talented and smartest guys I know. Let me just say right now, this guy's on the show. I worked with the Hundreds for a while.
Yeah,
This guy
yeah.
is so fucking good
Go
that
ahead.
when I sit down with Bobby and Ben, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get on a project with Dee. They're like, you know what? That motherfucker's so smart that when we have problems, we call him to figure out our problems.
Right.
That's what they said about Dee. And I
Uh-huh.
was sitting with 2 guys that I thought were like the smartest guys. And as time went by, I came to I've learned so much from this dude, man. He's so fucking good at what he does. And I try and emulate guys like him, dude. And I wanted to have him on the show, man. He's a beast. He's like you are our other partner. He gets down like that. He's really, really, really focused. He's done marvelous things. He was really like he was the motor that ran Young and Reckless.
Right.
You know, he was that guy, and just manufacturing and production and style and quality and design. And these guys eat, breathe, and live apparel, man. That's what these guys do.
Yeah.
And,
I was wondering whose portrait that was hanging in Bobby's office.
Yeah.
I said, who the hell is that guy on the wall?
So, I mean, okay, enough with the pump up. It's Dee Murthy. I want to welcome
Yeah.
Dee Murthy.
What up? What a warm welcome.
Damn, Dee. And it's one of those things with Dee is I don't know, man. They're as you know from histories of Steve Luciano in apparel and everything.
Yeah.
There's been some struggles with me, and I'm real open about a lot of struggles I had. And you know what, man? I struggled, and Dee, I would tell you guys right now, man, was the most patient person with me, man. Him, his brother, the whole team, and you know, man, I struggled, and he was really patient, and Dee really helped me. And Dee, he knows a lot of sides of me. And I learned so much of these brands. I learned so much about being a businessman through this gentleman. You guys get it. Granted, man, this guy's younger than me.
Right.
But he's just a really special dude. I'm glad you're here, Dee, to join us, man, today for this little talk, my man.
Hey, D, what does it take? Let's just cut the bullshit and get right down to it. What does
Yeah.
it take to be patient with a guy like Mr. Steve Lucky Luciano?
I think it's understanding karma is actually the first step, is because I'm sure many people have been patient with me.
Right.
And so I have to, like my parents, for example, and I think it's important that you appreciate everyone's circumstance in life, and you don't know in what position or why they're in that position. And if you don't take time to understand it, then you can't be a part of the solution. Then you continue to be the problem. It's like something that I'm, a big part of like my life has been understanding, for example, racism, where there are systemic things in society that have put certain groups of people behind. And that goes across all things. There's just systemic things in society that put people in unfair places and positions in life. So when you know they're talented and you know they work hard, why not take that extra effort to understand their situation and be patient with them? I mean, Lucky's a big part of the success of Young and Reckless. So if I wasn't patient with it, then that wouldn't be fair to him, because he was so instrumental in the early days of the brand to get us to where we were. So I owed him at least that, at the very least. I don't think I was doing, he may look at it like it was the kindness of my heart, but I owed you. You had helped build the brand in the early days. It wouldn't have, if you didn't get us into all those retailers that first day, it may be a different brand today.
Right. So, first of all, how did you get the name D?
So my full name is Guru Deep.
Wait, what?
Guru Deep.
Guru
So-
Deep?
Yes.
Wait a
And-
second. Wait. Slow down. Because my name's Chumahan. So we can do a weird name discussion and all that, right? Only weird in certain cultures, not weird in other cultures, right?
Correct.
Okay. So Guru Deep. Now, listen, we're in Southern California on the west side. So if your name's Guru Deep, that's already like putting you in a great position, I feel like. I feel like there's a lot of new age people that would be like, oh, that's
Yes.
Guru Deep.
If
Well-
I was born today and that was my name, that would be my name all throughout life. In first grade, when they had to do roll call, they were like, Grundeep, Rudeep. And I was like, my first grade teacher goes, I can't pronounce that. Your name is D. And that was my name.
Damn. That's like Ellis Island, except you were born here and shit. That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
I was born in, I grew up in Granada Hills. It's not like I grew up in like like the middle of the country. I'm born in the valley and they can't pronounce names.
Hey, was that one of those situations where like when they had like a hold on one second, we're at my law firm. Make sure he takes that package. Thank you, sir. All right. Sorry. That's what happens when we got to do it during business hours. I got to also run the law firm while I'm doing the podcast. Hey, is it one of those situations when you had like a substitute teacher and they would do the roll call and then all of a sudden there would be like a pause?
Yes. It
And
was
as
that.
soon as
That was
soon
my
as
whole
they-
life.
Yeah. I have that same thing. They'd be like, Bobby, Cindy, Brett, and then all of a sudden there'd be this pause, and I'd be like, I'm here. Don't even try to fucking say it. I'm here, motherfucker. But does Guru Deep have a meaning at all?
Did I break out?
Maybe I'm still hearing you. Can you hear us?
I hear you. You paused for a second though on me.
Steve was like fanning himself or something, so maybe that's what. Hey, does Guru Deep have a meaning? Does it mean anything?
Well, so Guru in my native tongue means teacher, and deep means light.
Damn, light teacher.
Yeah.
Shit, bro.
Some light.
Now, I see a new brand coming into existence.
Now,
Yeah.
tell you know what,
Wait. Can we just do this name thing for a second? I like
Sure,
it.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just one American Indian to another American Indian. I just want to talk about some fucking crazy name shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, okay, so light teacher, I love that. Now Chumahan is Sklallam. That's American Indian from the Europeans that got the wrong. They thought they were in India, but they were
Yeah.
right. So that means medicine bear.
Wow.
Chumahan. So I've had to deal with that, but I just went with it. I just kept going with it. On the reservation, it wasn't as much as a problem, but when I went to regular school, then it became a problem.
Yeah,
But-
mine was, growing up in public schools, no one put any effort to even appreciate a diverse culture. It's just like whatever it is, your name was your name, whatever they told you.
Yet Dee is a great name because that just fits perfectly into hip hop culture or whatever, right? Like Dee
Yeah,
is
exactly.
Oh yeah, that works for him.
great. Yeah. All right, Steve, you wanted to ask a question?
I just wanted to I want you guys, man, Dee, I just want you to kind of explain. You didn't get to apparel traditionally, I know that you went on your path out of high school into college, and then some things changed. I just want some people to kind of understand a little bit about where you came from and how you got into apparel.
Yeah, it's really random. So, I went to school in the Valley, in the suburbs of LA. Did well in high school. I wanted to go my whole life. I wanted to go to USC. I don't know why, but I was fixated on going to USC. I go to USC, and I honestly was not challenged in college. It was like my first year of school. I did really well, and I was mentally not challenged. It was it felt like I was wasting my time here. So I was like, this is my chance to be an entrepreneur. And so that was my freshman year of college, was 1998. And it was the beginning of the internet boom. And I was like, this is going to be the future. I want to go into technology. And I started my first business when I was in college. And I actually was able to raise money as an 18-year-old and ended up building a community for college and high school students online. This is 1998. This is 6 years before Facebook was even created.
Right.
And I'd gotten 50,000 people on this site. There were not that many people on the internet back then. So I get this momentum, and then 2000 hits, and there's the bubble that burst. And the entire idea of the internet just burst, and everyone was like, the internet's not going to last. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
And I fed into that, and I was like, fuck the internet. The internet's done. I don't want to do anything to do with the internet. And I'm Indian, right? We are the internet. And all my friends who were in the internet world were all going on to get jobs at different companies that all became Google, Facebook, all these things. Right. I was like, I need to be in something stable, like clothing.
Stop it, dude. The only dude in America was like, you know what? I don't know what Google is. That doesn't even sound like a business. Jesus Christ. I need something stable. So what did you pick?
So I was in the entrepreneurship program at USC, and before your senior year of college, you have to write a business plan, a feasibility study on a business, and you have to focus on that business the entire year. Yeah. And I go to my friend who was actually working on the internet company with me, and I was like, dude, this internet bubble just bursted. We got to run from technology. Right. So I was like, let's do clothing. We know people will always have to wear clothes. So we end up interesting. I think what really inspired me was my partner was always really into fashion as a college student. And he goes, we took a school trip to New York City, and he takes me to Fifth Avenue. And bear in mind, I never had money for clothes growing up. And at USC, I wore free t-shirts signing up for credit cards. And so I get to New York, and he goes, I want to go shopping. I was like, well, I have no money, so I don't really care about shopping. So he's like, just come with me. So I go with him. We go to Fifth Avenue, and this kid doesn't have money either, but he'll blow all the little money he had on clothes in college. And so we walk into the store, and it's a huge store, and I see him picking 10 things. And I was like, how the hell is this guy affording this? Is he have stolen credit cards? What's going on? And then I'm sitting there just grumpy that we're not doing anything. I flip the price tag on a brown bomber jacket, and I see it's $39. And I was like, whoa, I can afford this. what is this? And he goes, this is the first store in America. It's called H&M. It's from Europe.
Oh,
It's from Europe, and it just came here. And I was like, fashion can be made this cheaply? Because fashion to me growing up was like an elitist thing. Like
right.
people who had money dressed up nicely, people who didn't. And
Right. You either got your shit at Kmart or
Neiman Marcus,
JC Penney's,
Yeah.
right? Or you went to needless markups.
Right.
Right, exactly.
yeah, and so you know, you all you know, I always put myself in that I never had money for fashion group. I see H&M, and then I'm like, we got to do a clothing brand. Why isn't there an American H&M
Right.
with accessible price points and products? So at that point, there was Zara, you know, out of Spain, H&M out of Sweden, and then there was like Forever 21 was starting to gain steam. So you started seeing like the early days of fast fashion in America, and
Wait,
Harvard had done a case
before,
study. Go ahead.
before you go on to that, explain to our listeners what fast fashion is, because some people just don't know. I didn't know. My wife had to smack me around in the face a couple times. I don't know what it is. Okay,
So fast fashion, yeah, really originated in you know, in Europe when, you know, designer clothing in Europe is such a big part of their everyday culture, right?
Right.
And what Zara did first really was take stuff that was happening on the runways and bringing it to people faster and cheaper with a very high level of quality. So fast fashion was bringing the runway to retail in like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, which it's
Hold on
really
one second. Let me
yeah.
ask you this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt because there's just certain
Yeah.
points in here that I don't know. I don't know that people really understand this. So the runway and fashion week in Paris, let's say, whatever the fuck that is, right? When the person from, let's say, Zara, they're not actually running anything themselves down the runway, right? They're
No,
just
so
there.
yeah, so like Dior has a fashion show. Zara team sees the fashion show, whether it be in the magazines or whether they attend the show.
Right.
Their designers then go and pretty much knock all that stuff off.
Right.
And you know, Dior is showing in January fall. Zara's seeing that stuff in January and having it in stores in February.
Right. The scoop, and it's accessible to people who are never going to afford Dior.
Exactly. And so that happened in Europe first. And really the brilliance of fast fashion, which is always underappreciated, is the supply chain. The ability to make product quickly. It's not easy. It's damn near impossible.
Yep.
So they were able to use like their supply chain, their ability to source fabric, find factories all over the world that will move that quickly for them.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. So, all right. Because now everybody knows, like everybody's like, oh yeah, we'll go to Fashion Week and we'll just knock that out. Now everyone's a fucking genius. But at the time when it was first coming around, nobody saw it coming, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when Zara, let's say, when we don't know for sure, but let's just say Zara, when they set up their plan, do you even know? Do you know that? I don't, because I don't. But do you know the backstory of? Yeah, there was a guy at the Spanish company called Zara. His name was Pedro Pedraza. He said, listen, guys, I got a great idea. And everyone laughed in his face and said, that'll never work. And he's like, just give me 100K. Do you know any of that? Or is that?
Yeah, I mean, his story is really, you know, in the town that he started Zara in, it was always about the supply chain. It's about manufacturing. Because once you can nail that, like you can solve a lot of problems really quickly. And so a good example of someone that's doing it without actually manufacturing of the modern day version is Fashion Nova. Fashion Nova, which is this monstrosity of a direct-to-consumer e-commerce company, is taking what the Zaras of the world did 30, 40 years ago, but bringing it to a digital age. And he's able to scale his business. I mean, it's insane. He's doing billions of dollars and he's done it in less than 10 years. So I think like people think it's about the design or the marketing or the branding. It's actually all the supply chain. And we didn't even realize that till 10 years later after we started our business, because we thought it was all about the hype and the marketing and the branding, but it's really about the supply chain.
Listen to that.
Listen, okay, so what just for somebody who's not in that kind of business or doesn't do distribution and all this other shit, what is the supply chain? What do you mean when you actually say that?
Yeah, so that's really the manufacturing process. So making clothing, let's say making a pair of jeans is actually quite complicated.
Right.
So for example, there's a place you get fabric from. So you got to get a fabric mill. You know what? That's my baby crying. Hold on, let me turn off the
okay.
monitor.
That's all right. Let it cry. Man, I mean, I think that's fucking fascinating that we're about to hear, because I was thinking about that. When you look at jeans, like jeans aren't simple to make. There's like fucking rivets
There's
and
so
all
much
other
shit.
shit.
He's about to really break it down.
I love that. All right, you were just he's putting in his ear deals. So D, you were just about to explain that jeans ain't no simple fucking
All
walk.
right.
Neither is putting in headphones. Right. So jeans aren't some simple walk. You were explaining, like, first there's a place where you got to get the material from.
Yeah, so the first step is sourcing the fabric, and then is understanding how to wash that fabric correctly. And
Damn.
so you have to test the washing before you even start sewing the garment. Then you have to sew the garment. You have to cut the garment, cut the fabric so that you can sew it properly. Then once you sew it, you then wash the garment. And then you have to put the hardware on it. And then you have to put the packaging on it. So there's so many steps that can go wrong in making a pair of jeans. And so when you think about that across all these different categories, dresses and shirts, and just think about how complex this business is,
Right.
and why people can scale quickly are people that have incredible supply chains where they can go make anything they want whenever they want at the speed that they want. Because when you meet a fast growing brand, they'll be like, man, I can't get anything on time. And a company like Zara perfected that. And
Right.
Zara doesn't spend money on marketing. They're not in billboard ads. They don't do TV. They're the largest apparel company in the world, and they don't do any of the traditional marketing. What they do is make great product that are accessible price points, and they do
Right.
it quick. And if a trend happens, they're the first to do it. And that just shows you at the end of the day, the marketing is actually your product, nothing else.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. Because
Think
then
about
people just, they're like, fuck it. Because also, I think along with that is, in order to be a real fashion person, like a real one, like an Andy Warhol motherfucker or whatever, like you gotta love it so much you're willing to devote a lot of time. And a lot of people don't have that kind of time.
No,
But if you were like, if I go to Zara, I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'm gonna at least be at the front or in the front middle of whatever's going on, and it's one-stop shopping. I can get in, get the fuck out. Right?
Exactly.
Go
exactly
D.
right.
So you come up with, and you're gonna do. You decide to do a brand with 100.
Wait. So yeah, so USC, right? You're like, fuck the internet. That's a trend that's gonna die. We gotta get out of that. Let's do something that you can really, trust, like clothing, right? And wait a minute, what did your parents say about that, by the way? Were they like, oh, clothing, go at it, son. Sounds good. Here, I'll give you 10K. There you go.
So obviously they weren't pleased because, being Indian, like clothing is the last thing you want to hear about your kid's mouth. I might as well said rapper.
Right.
But they were always extremely supportive, and they're like, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, you gotta go get a job. And so I was like, okay, cool. And we had started writing the business plan in college and got really excited. And, the good thing about being in a program that we were at USC, they're very encouraging to like, okay, if you should get started right away. Like, don't just sit there and write the business plan, go figure out how to do the business. And we ended up trying to figure out how to launch the brand while we were in school. And we went to the first place you do when you're about to launch a new business. We hit the yellow pages.
Well, so all of a sudden I hear a lot of people go, what the fuck are the yellow pages? What the fuck is that? Yellow pages.
So they, back in the day, people would throw a big book that was 5,000 pages on your front lawn, and it was access to every business in your neighborhood. And when we were at USC, we had a yellow pages, and we were looking for a screen printer, someone who could print us t-shirts. And we saw this guy with a big ad. We called the guy with the biggest ad.
Great business decision. Excellent.
Yeah. And his name was Felix. It was this shady Nigerian cat out of downtown LA.
Okay.
And we go to his office. He's in like some sort of like, shared office building. And he's like, what do you guys need? You need, and, because by the way, when he opens his drawer in his office, he's got like 30 fake IDs in there too. So he's like,
Were you guys scared? How old were you when you were in Felix's office, the mysterious Nigerian?
probably 20 or 21.
So you guys were like shaking in your boots. Like,
Well, no, we were like, well, we could use a fake ID too. So. And so he ends up being our first screen printer, completely rips us off. And we end up running, it's so different. Clothing today, you want to do something, you go on the internet and you figure it out and you'll get 10 different options on where to go.
Right.
We got ripped off. And then we went to go buy t-shirts, blanks on Main Street in downtown LA. That's where all the Korean people have shops. And we walk into one of the stores there and the lady sells us shirts and we want to pay this price. So she sells us the shirt that we want to pay. Little did we know they're all irregular shirts.
Oh, right.
So between the t-shirts we bought and the screen printer, completely ripped off on our first try. But we have our first set of sweatshirts, right. And we take them to campus, and we had called the company 5-4 because it was just like a stupid slang term we used to just say to each other in college to say goodbye to each other. What? And so we were like, let's just call it 5-4 because 5 minus 4 equals 1. One love. We just had some,
You're right. Was anyone sampling any kind of dry goods or any kind of interesting mind altering substances? Why don't we call it like 2, 3, like 2 plus 3 equals 5.
I mean, it was as dumb as that. We were on AOL Instant Messenger and someone said 5-4 to us and we were like, what's that? Yeah. And he was like 5 minus 4 equals 1. And we were like, fuck, that's genius.
Yeah. I love that, bro.
So we end up calling the brand 5-4. We print a bunch of shirts that say 5 minus 4 equals 1.
Math.
And yeah, exactly. And, our friends buy them. So we sell like 50 t-shirts and hoodies our first day. And we were like, oh my God, we're going to be rich. This is the easiest money we've ever made. And we end up, while in school, we sneak into a trade show called Magic that happened in Las Vegas every 6 months.
Nice.
And we sneak into the show and we were like, this is the beginning of hip hop clothing. So we see Sean John, we see all these brands, FUBU, and we were like, holy crap, there's like real money in clothing. And we come back to school and we were like, we got to launch this brand right now. So we throw a party at the Knitting Factory in Hollywood. Yeah. We invite every person we've ever met. Literally, there was a line of 1,000 people.
Right.
One of the people that show up is, and Lucky knows him, was Tony Johnson from Fred Siegel, Santa Monica. Yeah. He shows up, has an incredible time, and goes, hit me up tomorrow. I show up to Fred Siegel the next day. He gives me an order. So our first store that carries us is Fred Siegel in Santa Monica, which at the time, Fred Siegel was the hottest store in LA.
Right. And wait, hold on. What kind of cosign, Steve? Maybe you can talk to this because you're a man who understands how products are framed, what's fucking cool, what's not. What kind of cosign for a clothing brand is it to have Fred Siegel hit you up for an order and get your first store that you're in is Fred Siegel?
It's great, and I ended up going a very similar route with Famous. I have a story about that with Fred Siegel, but it's a great a guy smart enough to know like Dee knows that store is going to get you 100 other accounts. As soon as you can say you're at least that's how business used to be.
Right.
The hottest store in LA. All you got to do is just send them over a picture of your stuff in the store, and they're like, "We got to have it." It was very follow the leader at that point in time.
Right.
So
did you tell your mom and everybody like, "Hey, I'm nothing from nothing, but guess what? Our first fucking store, Fred Siegel."
She was like, cool, tell me when you're in Ross, because that's what I've heard of.
All right. So you're in Fred Siegel. 5, 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. It's completely genius. Everybody gets it. Then what happens?
Then we start hitting stores all over LA. Like I grew up in going to the Northridge Mall. I walked into the Northridge Mall. I went to the stores I grew up going to, and they gave us a shot. My partner went to his neighborhood stores growing up, and we got into like a half a dozen stores over the weekend.
What do you wear? All right, D. Like back then, young D, smelling that promise in the air. You
Yeah.
know, like a Fred Siegel. Like, what do you wear, and how do you start approaching these stores? Like, you know, what was your how to?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know how to sell or even introduce themselves. So, what did you
Yeah.
do? What was your strategy?
And that's a really great point, because I learned communication skills like the hard way, which is walk up to a store at the Northridge Mall and say, "Hey, I am my name's Dee. I just launched this brand. I grew up around going to this store. I'd love to see if I can spend 15 minutes with you, tell you about my line."
And the person was like, sir, I'm just a cashier. I don't really know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally what happens 99% of the time. But in this instance, the owner was in the store in the back. He was like, "Let me see if you'll
Oh,
go spend time young." When you're young, anyone will fucking talk to you, because it's like this feeling of like mentorship or like opportunity. And so I knew that in college. I used to email people all day, and I would get meetings with anybody, because I would say, "I'm a student at USC, and that, you know, children are our future," shit.
yeah. Keep it real. Hey, D, what is some of the best? Like, did you ever get a good get where you were like, "Listen, my name is D, I'm at USC," and then like Rockefeller was like, "Yeah, come in, my boy."
Yeah.
What's like one of your best ones? Did you get a good one?
I mean, so many. I mean, like specifically in like the early internet days, every CEO had their email on their website, because no one was on these websites. So I could email anybody and I would get a response, because no one had, you got maybe 10 emails all day. So I'd be emailing the CEOs of every company, and like 9 out of 10 would respond to me.
Did you
And
ever email Zuckerberg and be like, "Hey, bro, before you get too fancy, just know I had that idea like 10 years before you even showed up."
I wish I did. I was so over. I didn't even get onto Facebook till like 6 years after it came out, because I was like, I don't want anything to do with the internet. But
All
yeah,
right,
I mean,
so yeah, you get into some stores, 6 stores, and then what happens?
we graduate from college and we decide that this is going to be our future. And there was a trade show, there's trade show magic, and we knew that's where we had to be. So we had to get a booth, and the booth was $7,000,
Damn.
which I didn't have. My partner definitely didn't have that either. But all those credit cards I'd signed up to get free t-shirts added up to about 10 grand. So I was like, fuck it, let's just charge all these cards and see what happens.
Another great business decision.
Yes. So we charge those credit cards, get our first booth. I have my friends come to my backyard. We buy plywood and build our first booth. I drive it in a U-Haul to Las Vegas. It's August 2002. It's like 173 degrees. And we build the booth in the convention center. Like my best friends all come with me. We had built this booth that we thought was like the Taj Mahal. And when I look at pictures now, it was a dump.
What was like the theme? Did you guys have like an idea?
Yeah, this is all our theme could afford us. A kid's bedroom.
Fucking D, bro.
I love that.
Yeah.
Look it, why don't we just set up the booth like where our clothes are really gonna be?
Yeah.
That way people could kind of get a sense of like what it's gonna be.
Yeah, and I think we do that, and we were so excited. I had called every buyer, like I emailed the Bloomingdale's buyer, I emailed everybody.
Yeah.
The show was 4 days. No one even talked to us for the first 3 days.
Oh.
On the 4th day, a guy came to me and said, "Man, I really like the energy you're putting out there. How's the show?"
Like that's what you guys were putting out.
Hey, I've been watching you guys.
I've been walking by every day and seeing you guys.
Yeah,
Listen
and
over there.
Hey, listen, you little whippersnappers. Like I saw
Literally.
you guys pretending to be happy there when no one was talking to you for
Yeah.
3 days, and you kept the smile going, and that's the kind of grit it takes.
Yes, and he literally goes, "You know what? I want to support you guys. I want to give you an order." And he gave
Damn.
and he
Pity
gave
order,
us
huh? Pity order.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
however,
Is it deep?
hey, however you can get it.
Yeah.
yeah, it was probably like $1,200. So
Yeah.
so
Right.
and then
But his last name was Getty. No.
and so they called they gave us a store. They were out in Minnesota, in like the middle of nowhere in
Oh,
Minnesota.
that's where fashion's happening, bro. Minnesota.
Exactly.
If you're not going to get seen in Minnesota, you're not going to be able to sell in New York. Everybody knows
Exactly.
that. Land of
Exactly.
lakes, baby.
and we get another order from a store that he's still a very close friend of mine, a store called Leaders in Chicago that was just opening then. And he's like all about young energy and young people, and he's still doing the same shit, giving kids a shot. Like he gave all the Chicago brands their first shot. So he gives us a shot. So we end up rounding up maybe like $5,000 in orders.
All right.
And I don't even have enough money at that point, because trade shows are scams. Okay. Trade shows are scams. And what they do at trade shows is they stick you with all these fees at the end
Right.
that I was not aware that I had to pay. So I get stuck with like a $1,500 bill, and I literally don't have a dollar to my name at this point.
Right.
I have to go to a phone and call my mom.
Damn.
And I call her and said, I need $1,500 like right now. Otherwise, they're not going to release any of this shit to me. And she's like, well, maybe can I pay it over the phone? Can I deposit a check? And I'm like, I need the money like today. And she's like, I'm like, I think I need you to come.
Oh, really?
And so she hops on a Southwest flight from the Valley, comes to Las Vegas, brings us Del Taco and
What?
$1,500, pays the bill, and we go home with our tail between our legs and regroup on like, what the hell are we going to do next?
You know what they call that? They call that maternal instinct, my good man.
Yeah.
That's how you mother.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
how you mother. Although
So-
I gotta think that I mean, when you picked up the phone and you started dialing mom's number, I gotta believe that was one heavy fucking call to make.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was obviously it's embarrassing. It's like a sign of failure. It's all those things. And luckily my mom is such an amazing, generous, both my parents are. And it ends up being this like amazing eye-opening experience, because I was like, we need to go out there and meet people. So my mom had a minivan. She wasn't really using it. I come back from Vegas. I was like, I need to go drive and go to stores. Every time I've walked into a store, I get a sale.
Right.
So I got to go build all these relationships. So the next couple years, the way we built the brand was traveling like everywhere. I drove that van all over the country. I would fly to like Michigan, rent a car and go up and down.
Yep.
I became like, Lucky knows there's like an embassy suite circuit of salespeople. It's the most depressing thing.
It's the most so sad.
What do you mean? They give you free breakfast. What
Yeah,
are you talking
right,
about?
Yeah.
Stand in that buffet line and try to get as much
Free
Yeah, you start living
peanuts.
that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You start living in
Oh,
that little like crazy like motel, hotel, trade show.
Days in,
Yeah, it's like
fucking
Days In.
right, dude.
Go on.
Right.
Yeah.
You got like that's when you do that is when you start developing those weird waffle strategies that only a lot of exposure. Like you're
But
like,
no, absolutely. But D, that's where you start actually meeting these little fucking stores.
right,
Yes.
And when you're there, you're like a superstar to them.
right.
You in their little town, they're meeting you. Oh my God, it's the owner. And
Yeah.
go ahead, D.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. It's like, I'm from LA, I went to USC. Like there's some sort of like cachet with all that shit. And
Sure.
the real thing, what I learned early on in life, which has carried me to this day, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And that changed my whole perspective. I knew that in college because I got a culture shock when I got to USC because I'd never seen people with money before.
Right.
And when I graduated from college, I was like, I got to know everybody. I want to know everybody.
Right.
And that's what I did. Like these people just did business with their friends. And that's how life works. You do business with people you know and you feel comfortable with. And sales is all about comfort. Like people are like, I know D, like it took me how many years to get into all the department stores. They could have bought me 5 years earlier, but no, they saw my face and had comfort level with me for half a decade where they're like, I know this guy's going to be around. He's a good guy. He's a good reputation. Let's go give him a shot. And unfortunately, there's a big part of, if you're still in a business where you're relationship driven, then you still got to know people, and showing up to their store was the equalizer for me, because I went everywhere. I literally went to every small shit town mall in the country.
Hold on a second. Now, Sean is our resident introvert. So, Sean, you're listening to Dee talk about essentially, like, first and foremost, he went to a college where some rich motherfuckers went, and he saw how the game is played at that level, right? I don't know if people intend it to be that way. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We can have a political discussion about that later. But the fact of the remains is these universities are places where relationships can be built, right? So if you go to, Bob Murray's Trade Tech, you might get a certain level relationship. But if you go to USC, right, you're going to get another level of relationship. And then, so Dee gets that exposure. What is your reaction to that? Because you have kind of a different background or whatever. What do you think about all that?
I completely understand it.
What do you mean?
I mean, my employment, like the way I get jobs mainly is through relationships.
Right.
And like I've had, stretches where I go like a whole year, throwing out resumes or whatever and not getting any. But then, I get a call, hey, would you be interested in this position?
And that's like from a friend or through a friend.
It's like, people I know or people I've worked with before.
Young intern, special care, are you listening to this? It's especially crucial for introverts, because I don't know, Sean, would you be able to get in your mom's minivan and just drive around Michigan and just meet strangers?
If it was all on the line and I had to do it to save my business and like I understood that that's what success meant, yeah, absolutely.
Wait a second.
No, I wouldn't.
Wait, but isn't that, hold on. Isn't that what, I mean, dude, what he just said, it was all on the line, but things have been on the line for you millions of times. I'm just saying, how hard is it for a guy like you to get outside your comfort zone, get in a minivan, start just driving up and down the block, meeting people?
It's hard.
Right. Steve, do you have the same challenges? You don't seem like a kind of guy like that to me. Or do you get nervous, or is there a class of people that you meet and you...
I don't think I think that the guy that gets nervous isn't thinking about launching a clothing brand. I think the guy that's launching a clothing brand has like in his head, there's really nothing I can't do. Oh, I see what they're doing. I can do that. They're not doing anything I can't do. Like, that's kind of how I approach the thing. And I think so much of this stuff is kind of like what Dee says. Like, I think like if you learn how to swim, if you get fucking thrown in a pool, you jump into a pool. That's how you learn how to do shit. And I certainly didn't have any experience in business, but it made sense. Like, all right, the store owner, I see him sometimes. He's got cool shit. Man, let's see if I can talk to the guy, man. Maybe I can. And that's what you do, kind of what Dee's saying. Like, you're walking in. I like his, hey, I just launched a brand. Can I spend 10 minutes? His was a little bit cleaner than mine.
Wait. When you say his, what are you talking about? What is it? His
it's the way he canned it. His little canned pitch.
His shtick.
Yeah, like,
what was your shtick? How would you be like? Because
his was intimidation. I saw his shit.
That's what they want to believe.
Yeah, nah, come on. Hey, bro. Hey.
I think there was a couple times there was some intimidation, but
wait, hold on. Let me just share this story.
Yeah, please.
I'll tell you.
Let's get real in this moment.
Yeah, this is real. We're launching Young and Reckless. The brand has not come out yet. Okay, it's about to come out. And Fantasy Factory, which the show is where they're going to be airing the launch of the brand, which Drama was a star of. We get the episode 6 months in advance. So I tell Lucky, I have the episode. Let's go meet with everyone. So we go to PacSun, we go to Tilly's, we go to Journeys, we go to Hot Tub. We oversold the shit out of this. Right? And so, and so, when I go to a meeting, I'll maybe I was wearing Young and Reckless t-shirt, maybe a jacket, pair of jeans, or
Right.
I would wear a button-down shirt. I want to look like a professional.
Right, because you're already in your mind, you're thinking like, all right, I gotta reassure these people that someone professional is in control of this shit.
And by the way, like even at that point, I was still only like 27, 28 years old. So I was like, I'm bringing them a huge opportunity. I need to be taken seriously.
Right.
I then get, I think picked up Lucky. We started heading over. I'm like, I didn't know Lucky good enough then to like tell him, make a comment on what he was wearing, but
And
he
let's
was
be-
wearing,
and let's-
he was
be
wearing,
fair. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry, but let's be also fair that if you don't know Lucky well enough, you definitely do that mental negotiation with yourself. Like, do I say anything or do I just keep my mouth shut? And just
yeah,
be cool?
exactly. So, he had the relationship with some of these stores. So I didn't want to, he's been there before. He knows how it works. We go walk into PacSun corporate headquarters. This guy's wearing a wife beater. I don't even know if that's allowed to be said anymore. And a pair of hoop shorts, like maybe a pair of like famous hoop shorts. And, like some like maybe pair of Chucks or Cortezes or whatever. And I was like, this is a interesting choice of attire to launch a new brand.
Right, but dude, honestly, Steve, the way you look, right, it's to a certain extent, right? When you're wearing wife beaters, I mean, you got the chest, the guns out, you got the tats, and you definitely look fucking cool. And you also look a little bit like, I ain't gonna fuck with that guy, right? And you're not
Exactly.
necessarily, I know me, I don't know, maybe Dee's got a pair of brass ones. I know me. I would see you like that, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna let Steve pick his own clothes right now. I'm not gonna say like, hey, bro,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It was interesting, man. He was right on. He just kind of had like the game plan, and we went along with it. And by the time we're going, he had been operating with different types of retailers. So Young and Reckless was going to be a brand that he could kind of oversee this brand, but we could do it in retailers that I was familiar with.
Hold on a second. What was your fashion decision? Like, when you got dressed to go with D, to go talk to some retailers, what were you thinking when you were like, I'm gonna put some hoop shorts and some fucking white beater? Like, what did you have any thought?
By this point in time, man, my attitude is where I'm not chasing any of these retailers now. They're just calling me throughout the day to see what Lucky's doing. They're like, this motherfucker's always running around with like stars and the hottest man. Like, so I had this attitude that was like, and it's kind of fucking retarded.
No,
I
it's
had
not.
This
It's
attitude that
not.
was like, I can do this.
Right.
And everybody else is mad because this dude is just doing it the way he wants to do it. With the Rolex on. Like, I was real caught up in all that shit. Like,
Yeah, but you know what?
I was that guy and I can do this, float around and so, but
yeah, but you can't. Listen.
absolutely. But I do, but listen, man, I gotta say this.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna let you
Go.
Is that I know damn well when I put on a button-down shirt, I'm wearing a blazer.
Yeah.
I get treated completely different, and I think I want to be treated more like that lady.
Well, okay. All right, hold on a second.
I'm not trying to go in and fucking scare people.
Nah, but listen. Everyone just calm down for a second because I understand what you're saying, Steve.
Mhm.
Like on some level, you're saying, look, there's two kinds of a Bronx tale. Would you rather be feared or respected?
Sure.
All right. And then there's legitimate to that. I'm not, but also I think, and maybe Dee can talk to this, you're also a genuine article. Like
Sure.
to a certain extent, when you roll with Steve, and you really do roll with a lot of different people, yeah, sometimes your intimidation thing is part of it. But the other part of it is this is actually a real guy who really did a lot of shit that most people just want to think about and then go home to their nice bed. And as a result, right, you're lending some credibility to the enterprise, and it's got nothing to do with intimidation.
Sure.
That's a real motherfucker. Actually, a real guy from Santa Monica, it might actually wear a wife beater to a business thing.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
yes,
D, is that
you're
right? Credibility
Absolutely.
that while you're handling certain high-end business decision things or whatever, if you can't actually attract the real talent or the real guy or the people who are there, then you don't have credibility with some of your partners.
Yeah, I think the right word is as long as you're like authentically yourself, then people don't feel that you're out of pocket.
Right.
And that was natural to who Lucky was as a personality. So it made sense. That's how we dressed. And for me, it's like I was at that point in my career, I still felt like I had to I was playing a role. Like I had to, that was my shtick. I was a nice, smart guy. Like
Right.
that was my role. As I got more successful, I was able to be more comfortable in my skin and be my actual personality, which is speak freely, talk with you, have the confidence that I have today. But at that point, I was like, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Because I didn't want to, I hadn't made it yet. I was still trying to figure out my place in this business.
Right.
Like,
He
you
had
know
to
what,
make
dude,
it
like,
strong.
it was where, listen, man, and I know this is gonna kind of sound crazy, but I was in a mode prior to getting to where D was at, where I was like, I'm gonna blow the brand up. I'm gonna just sell. It's like I'm gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, right?
Yeah.
And the guy that I was working for was about numbers, like just fucking blah, blah, blah. And so by the time I got over to working with D, it was the first time that I was kind of just through being with him and his brother too, and working through problems. I got to look at this apparel business from a vertical standpoint, and I don't like. There were things where like I didn't pay attention to as a salesman, and that you really need to know this. And I learned a lot of them late in the game. And it was like I'd run into these huge problems of like selling product to a retailer and the product not moving well, and me being stuck with like, what are we gonna do? And then like D would show up in situations and he'd be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let this go at this price and cut them a deal. But what they have to do is we'll do that, but they've got to commit to X amount on the next buy. Remember stuff like that, D? You would have ways to like. He just was like really savvy business wise, man. And the way that we dropped our POs in, like, it's like gather this much more, and then we'll make this cut and we'll overshoot it. And it's like he really understood this stuff. And if you don't understand, or you don't have a team that understands this business, you're just like, I tell people, man, the only way I made it was because I landed on great teams that could execute.
Right.
At Young and Reckless, man, what we did in an amount of time and the way that we made it work, we had everybody looking at us like, that's not going to happen. And it all happened. But it's really like, I trusted D had the manufacturing capability. Like they understood that. And I just trusted D, man. And you know what, man? I remember selling Famous into a bunch of retailers. And at this point in time, me and D are already friendly. I know who he is. And he's got 5-4 Denim. And 5-4 Denim is in like urban stores. And I'm introducing Famous to an urban customer. So now, dude, like all the stores in Southern California that I sell Famous to, 5-4 is in like 75% of these independent doors. And I mean, and I remember D, there was a point in time where like, I think a lot had to do with the economy. And it was like, I want to say 2005 to 2007. Like,
well, some shit went down.
There, everything did go down.
The housing bubble fucking
and
exploded.
D, man, this fucking, from what I knew and what the talk out on the street was that 5-4 was pretty much done, and that they had denim out everywhere, and everybody was closing doors and nobody was paying them. And this company was fucked. And I had heard it from a couple other companies surrounding them. These dudes are done. All this store closed, that store closed. They can't. And what I remember seeing, bro, is I remember driving around to these different retailers, and I would see D and his partner showing up at these places and like figuring out this massive problem. People don't understand, man.
Hold on. Let's let D set the scene then. D, is that accurate? So Steve's laying out basically
I'm laying out a nightmare in this business for everybody, so they can kind of understand.
So set the stage, D. How bad was it? Like, what were you guys facing when the shit hit the fan?
Yeah, so in 2008, when the housing bubble kind of burst, and it was a span of like, if you guys remember when Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns went out of business, that time period, retailers panicked. So we were in all Macy's stores. We were in all Buckle stores. We were in all these small retailers all over the country. And literally everyone stopped paying us. People stopped ordering. People were returning goods. And we were in a horrible place. I mean, we had no money. We had taken on our first investors. They were all dealing with their own financial crisis. And so we were just kind of left to fend for ourselves. And we were totally bucked. And the reason why we started Young and Reckless was like we were going to throw some darts and see if something sticks. And luckily Drama had reached out to me like several times before to like launch a brand through his manager, and I just didn't know who they were because I wasn't into skating. I didn't know who Rob Dyrdek was. I didn't know anybody. I hadn't watched MTV in 10 years. I was 27 years old. Like I hadn't even watched TV in probably a decade.
Right.
So I was like, who are these guys? And then I saw what was happening with Famous, and then I saw what this brand could be, and I saw Drama, and I was like, fuck, this could be the next Famous if it's
Right.
done right. So I was like, why? And we were totally screwed with our vendors. We owed millions of dollars, and I was just like, I need a payment. We went to everybody we owed and set up payment plans. If we owed you 50 grand, 5 grand, or $2 million, we set up these crazy payment plans with people. Like we paid our law firm like $500 a week for like 7 years.
Damn, bro. I was just gonna say you wanna come, I'll be your lawyer, but nah.
Hey, we paid every last dollar, but that's the world that we lived in. It was like do or die, and we weren't going to just fold over. So we end up doing that. And then when Young and Reckless comes about, I was like, I got to get the guy that did Famous. Like, why beat around the bush? Let's just get the same guy. I reached out, and I think he had recently left, and it was just like fortuitous timing for both of us because we were able to work on the brand together. But yeah, we were screwed. Our business was over. Like we were doing millions of dollars, and then in 2009 did less than $1 million.
Damn.
And then Reckless started in August of 2009, and we made more money from August to December than I'd ever made all of 5-4.
So I'm, and you know what? And I also know some of these reps. Some of these reps would be at different stores that I was at. So I saw their business and I saw this happen. And what I witnessed is that these guys were showing up. This is a nightmare, you guys, when you've got to like payment programs and you're like driving 2 hours to go pull $200 out of a retailer and like 20 pairs of denim because they can't pay for it.
Right.
That type of shit.
Right.
I watched these guys do it. And I'm going to say this because I watched them just show up and do what was in front of them.
Right.
Essentially. Right. And work it through the other side. But I remember too, man, Dee told me something and I think about it every day, bro. And it's, he pulled me in the office and he goes, hey man, you know what, man? 80% of this whole thing is just showing up.
Right.
Just keep showing. He goes like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I keep on showing up. I just keep on showing up. It's like, dude, and that's gotten, I realized that to be very true. You know, I learned these lessons a lot later, but I watched Dee do this. And so when Dee was approaching me to do stuff, no, like I had this trust because I know from the inside what it looks like to finance. And when you're in up to your neck with retailers like you just mentioned.
Right.
When you're in with Zoomies, when you're in categories with PacSun,
yeah,
you're floating around at like, millions of dollars overseas, your fucking freight company, you're like, to be able to handle that shit, that's a lot. You got to really have like pro people around you. And the only reason I will do it was because of Dee and his brother and the team that was set up in there, man. It's like
right.
A+. If you fuck that up with those guys, then you're just retarded,
Hey, so let me ask you this, Dee. Then where did you, and dude, be real about it. Where did you develop the ability to have zombies and fires and fucking black holes all around you? And you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and just saying, I'm not going to quit. I'm just not going to quit. I mean, it doesn't look good. It's embarrassing, but I'm not going to quit. How did you know? Because I know I got a lot of friends and they fall into a category of knuckleheads and they try something and their first like failure, if you want to call it that, or setback can cause them to start a whole brand new other thing. Yeah. Right. So how is it that you were able to see this thing through or had the moxie to just keep going?
You know what it actually is? It's ego. I had such a big ego that I wasn't going to let anyone watch me fail.
I love it. That's real. That's
So-
true. Because you know what, man, we've had a lot of people. Some people are like, well, my grandma, you know, she always taught me, like, if the oven still works, you can make a cake. No, G was like, no, man, I had a big ass ego, and I was like, I ain't going out like that, nah, son.
Exactly. I mean, you could have asked me the day we owed someone, $5 million. I'd be like, how's business good? We're killing it. And the thing,
Sean, look at Sean's face. Look at Sean's face. Sean, you just like shook your head. What's your response to that?
I mean, it's just the power of lying to yourself.
yeah. You know what it is? Entrepreneurs, and I mean this in a good way and a bad way. Entrepreneurs are delusional.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you have to be delusional to be an entrepreneur. Like Elon Musk is the most delusional man on earth, and which has
Right.
made him the most successful man on earth because he actually thinks these ridiculous things are possible.
Right.
And when we owed $5 million, my brother was like, yo, let's close this shit up and let's go get jobs and let's go figure this shit out. Like, this is stupid. You're never going to figure this out. And, years later, that same problem happened to our business. And I think at the end of the day, you have to be delusional to actually get through these types of problems.
Wait,
Do you
D,
hear
hold
that? Do you
on.
hear what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the level of the shit that they were trying to get.
You want to know what's crazy? Is that Sean's hero is fucking Elon Musk,
Right. of
who's
course.
super delusional.
Right.
Yet Sean's like shaking his head like, I don't know how you can do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. This is great. Because this reminds me of that scene in Animal House where, like, right, everything gets shut down and then John Belushi gets up and gives that crazy speech to pep everyone.
Yeah.
So, D, how did you, when your brother was like, look, bro, I understand business too, motherfucker. All right, okay. And it was cool and we learned a lot, but we could just declare bankruptcy and just get the fuck on out, right? What was the coach speech that you gave him? Like, did you jump up and say, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Like, what did you say?
You know what's funny? The day we owed the most money and we're in total shit, you know what we did?
What?
We went to the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Okay. We went and we took our last, whatever, $500 and blew it on like cocktails and a lunch.
Yeah.
And we sat down, and on a paper napkin, we literally wrote all the money we owed to everyone. And we kind of sat there and said, we knew the legal system to a certain extent where we had been in some small lawsuits where the judge, all he cared about, are you making your best efforts given your circumstance to pay these people? And when we realized that's it, we are making, if you came and opened our books, you'd be like, these guys are making a heroic effort to let everyone pay. So we went to everyone and said, you could sue us, you could do this, you could do that.
Mhm.
Then we're going to be in court for the next couple of years. You're probably going to get zero. You're going to spend more on legal fees than what we owe you. Instead, take this payment plan and let's keep working together. And we went to every single vendor and did that. And that's how we got out of the hole. That's really what the coach's speech was. We just sat to we were drinking like $40 margaritas at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. We're like, if we're going to go out, we're going to go out in style. And we sat there and we just called every single person. And, obviously these aren't pleasant conversations to have,
Right.
and you grow up really quick, but we paid every single fucking person. Literally everyone got their money.
Right. You made good. You didn't trump out.
I mean, it's the same LLC I've been running for 18 years. We're still existing, and we made good on every dollar we owed. A lot of those people, we went back and did business with them and made them a lot of money later in life.
Right.
So it's like, because it's karma. At the end of the day, it's what I believe. You gotta take care of people because there's a lot of people that took care of you on the way.
So let me ask you this, man. I mean, now do your parents have like a shrine to you in their house? And they're like, oh, this is my son. Can I tell you about my fucking son?
Yeah. They're definitely very proud. And, I mean, I think for them, given, my parents are immigrants, and for them was just making sure we're on stable ground in America.
Right.
that was the goal, and they accomplished that obviously early on with us going to good schools and doing well.
Right.
I think they were always, as an immigrant that came out of poverty, it's like their view on life is very much different than my view on raising my child. Like my parents
Right.
taught us defense, right? Like just survive, just
Right.
have a roof over your head, get married, have kids, and go live the best life you can. Whereas, me being a parent now, mine's like to my children, the world's your oyster. You want to go conquer the fucking world, I'll help.
Right.
It's very different mindset. And so I appreciate what my parents did for us because it set a foundation for like future generations.
I love that because I know a lot of immigrant families and first generation, second generation, etc. And like there is a tension there. You have the family comes from a situation that's so much worse than what's here, that they come with a different set of strategies as to their own children. And some people even get caught up with like, when you have parents from another country and they're raising you here in a better situation, they always remind you like, hey, let me tell you something. It could be a lot worse than what's going on right here. When I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. And that puts a lot of pressure on that first generation kid. And some people, they're not able to translate it into success the way you were. Do you have any insights as to what the difference is in that scenario?
I mean, I think it's a lot. You have to be really open-minded as a parent, I think, to understand like your child and know what's best for them. I think for my parents, they were just concerned that we, survive in America and assimilate and feel, they just wanted to protect us. And so
Right.
I understand their intention was of the best. And I think, as I got to college, and I think this is why it's so important to go do the uncomfortable things in life, is that when I went to college and I was put in this kind of, for me, a cultural shock, it gave me access to like not feel so different than everybody else. Because when you grow up and you see things on TV or read in magazines, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wonder if I could do that. Then I got to USC and I saw very wealthy people, very successful people, all these different walks of life. And I'm like, fuck, I'm smarter than these people. Like they're actually not better than me. I just didn't know that.
Right.
And growing up, you don't realize that. You think the person that you see on the screen is different from you. And the reality is they're not. They're not smarter than you. And if anything, the lesson we learned 2 weeks ago, in January with the Wall Street Bets Reddit board was
GameStop.
that with GameStop was the average person is as smart as the person on Wall Street. They just never were given access.
Right.
And so access is, ultimately the biggest equalizer in life. And I think that just showed that if you give everyone, that's why they have Harvards of the world, because they want to keep their club. They like it. They like their country club the way it looks right now. They don't want that grimy ass Reddit kid at their country club who made $100 million in a week. Right. And that's society in general. And so at USC, I realized that I could be a part of this club, that I just have to, get some skills I just don't have today. And
that's interesting. So now what you're laying out, Dee, is another lesson about going to like quote unquote an elite school or whatever clubs, whatever it is. And that is not only are you going to make relationships, let's say, but also you're going to find out or demystify what that class is and realize, oh shit, they're just the same as me. Maybe I'm even hungrier than they are, and I'm going to be in a good, and I can actually make this happen. And you know what? That's interesting that you bring that up, because we did a whole show on GameStop and we were talking about that very thing, which is in a weird way, these clubs, like, if you want to call it Harvard, whatever it is, or these Wall Street guys, these, insulated groups, what they claim to be capitalists, or they claim to be about free markets, but the last thing they want is real competition.
No. The richest people in the world are beneficial of corporate socialism. They just don't want to give it. Their socialism for the rich is okay. Socialism for the poor is not.
Man. Yeah, man. Hard Luck Show exclusive, man. Talk about young and reckless. That's some crazy shit right there. Now, let me ask you this. what part, where exactly did your parents come from? Where did they immigrate from?
They came from India and from a city called Bangalore.
Bangalore. And where is that in, like, when you look at India, is that in the south or the north?
That's south.
That's south. Okay. And do you ever go back and travel and check shit out or whatever?
Yeah. So, as kids, we were lucky. We used to go literally every other summer for the entire summer.
That is awesome.
Really?
Did you ever smoke
Yeah.
beaties? You were smoking beaties over there?
No.
Come on, man.
Hey, no, because dude, I've been to India twice. I went to India when I was 14.
Wow.
And I rode a train from like New Delhi all the way down to, back then they called it Bombay, but I guess now
Yeah.
it's Mumbai, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went all through there, and dude, my cousin and I, as soon as we saw beaties, we were like 14, we were fucking smoking those things like they were going out of style, bro. Yeah, I love India.
Dee, let me ask you this, man. Like, just real clear, because as we were building this whole thing, this Young and Reckless thing, Dee and his partner, they've got 5'4". I think that for like the first couple of years, I'm over there with other people. We're kind of looking over to the other side of the offices, like, what's 5'4" doing? What is 5'4" really gonna do? And we're building Young and Reckless, and we're like, things were just changing real rapidly. And Dee, how did you guys? These guys were like real early on the whole subscription. Before you even heard about subscription coming, these guys were like already setting up boxes. Dee, take us through the quick little view of how that worked, man?
Yeah. So we used to have
at the time.
Right.
we used to have retail stores back then. We had a store in Century City Mall, Fox Hills Mall, and Arcadia Mall. And I would spend my weekends in those stores, working the stores or nights. And one day a friend of mine comes in, Grant Shapiro. I'll never forget this. Grant's father is Robert Shapiro.
I was just gonna ask, any relation to the attorney Robert Shapiro, Legal Zoom?
Yes. And so they walk into the store and I know Grant, and he goes, "Oh, this is my dad. I wanted to show him your store." I was like, "Oh shit, look what's up." And he's like, "You'll appreciate this. Come outside with me. I'm launching a new business with Kim Kardashian. You should take a picture with her." I was like, "I don't want a picture with her." He goes, "You should take a picture with her." I'm like, "Okay, fine." I go walk. Indulge him. He's obviously a superstar lawyer. So I walk over there and I go, "What is this business? Tell me about it." He goes, "It's a subscription shoe business where you fill out a style quiz, and for $39.99 a month, based on your style preferences, you get a shoe sent to you for women." I was like, "Holy shit, this is a good idea." And Kim Kardashian was the face of it.
Right.
I get on the phone, call my brother, call my partner, and I just said, "I just heard the craziest fucking business I've ever heard. We should do this." So they figure out what to do for men, which was fill out a style quiz, and for $60 a month, we're going to give you a box of clothes, which was effectively 50% off our retail price.
Right.
So we launched that in May of 2012. We were literally the first to do this.
Yes.
And we start getting a little traction because we had customers and people knew who we were. 18 months of just like learning how to do that business, because it's completely different than what we were doing. December of 2014, we were like, let's just go full force and do this. December of 2013, let's shut down our wholesale, shut down our retail stores, and really give this thing a shot.
Damn.
In 2013, 5'4" we had gotten whittled down to $1 million in business. And Young and Reckless was like north of $20 million at that point. 2015, 5'4" Club did $15 million.
Damn.
The next year it did 30. The next year it did 50.
Damn.
And so,
Hey, Sean, could you use $50 million?
Shut the fuck up. Go on, dude.
and so that really opened our eyes to like the opportunity. And since then our business has evolved and changed dramatically because the internet got very crowded with very similar concepts.
Right.
And so, we were faced with the same challenge we've had every few years in our business, is like evolve or die. And we were living and dying by the subscription business, but we birthed all these new brands. We birthed a footwear brand called New Republic. We birthed an activewear brand called Grand Running Club. We birthed, some new concepts. And what we realized was subscription wasn't going to be end all be all, but it was going to give us access to launch things quickly and efficiently. So we launched our shoe brand in the box. We launched our activewear brand in the box. And today, the subscription business has shrunk, but all these other brands have grown dramatically. So that's really what we've kind of evolved again to, which is now a house of brands. And so we have 12 different brands today across categories in footwear, apparel, menswear, women's wear, denim, you name it, accessories. And, all the learnings of the last, call it 19 years now, has now got me to the point where we've built this house of brands, and now we're building it for other people too. So we do services for emerging brands. So we've really come full circle and found out what we're really good at, which is the ability to launch and scale brands very quickly. I may be in a position. I talked to a friend of mine today who runs a $1 billion business, and he's like, I was never meant to run a $1 billion business. I was meant to launch it and then hand the keys to somebody else. And so, we all have to find out what we're good at in life. And I think I'm good at finding opportunities and launching them and scaling them quickly. And, maybe these brands will go and live on with other people at some point. But that's the vision.
What's interesting about what Dee is saying though, it's like, I gotta say, like, it's one thing to hear Dee, who's had a lot of success, and he put a number behind the amount of years of experience. It was like 18, 19, probably longer, really. But he said 18, I think. And the thing is like, Dee, if I was to like throw a rock, I would hit a kid who's like, listen, I'm not meant to actually run a business, but what I'm meant to do is launch it and flip it, baby. And that's what I'm trying to do, right? So everybody's trying to do that, or everybody wants to do that. And I think it comes from a different place than what you're saying. Maybe you can speak to this, which is, I think a lot of people think like, I don't want to be consistent. Like I can come up with a great idea. I got a cousin named King Sam. I got a great idea. This is a $1 billion idea. All I need is someone to execute it. I'm not that guy. What's the difference between that and what you're saying?
Mine is actually, I want to be the execution person that actually gets into the weeds, understands the brand, understands the entire part of the business. What I'm, in my view, is like, I think I'm incredibly talented at getting a business to like 15, 20 million bucks, but I'm not sure if I'm the guy to take you to $1 billion yet, because I haven't done it. So, I've gotten our businesses pretty big. So, it's the same thing. There's like levels to where stage you are at in life. And in life, I've taken businesses to close to $100 million, but I have not been able to break through that barrier. And I have friends, let's say the founder of Fashion Nova, who's done that. And he broke through it. And so I'm sitting there learning from him. I'm like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? Because he'll literally be like, you got in this game before me. How am I bigger than you?
Oh, man. Imagine that. Imagine you have like $1 million business is successful. There's always somebody bigger. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah. And it's the same thing. Like my friends who own Revolve, we started our business at the same exact time. They went to USC as well. And they went and built, their business is worth $3 billion today. Yeah. And so the same thing, they'll come to me and be like, hey man, how come you haven't done it yet? And it's not even in a condescending way. It's in a way of like, what are you doing differently that you haven't, that, we were able to do it? Because they will come to me and be like, I call you for help. I call you for, all these people are still calling me for advice on, when the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I'm very vocal about my view on race and life. And a lot of those CEOs call me and said like, how can I have a better perspective on this? And how can I be a better partner in the community to actually solve problems?
That's an interesting, now let's talk about that for a second. Cause look I'm mixed American Indian and white and all sort of shit. And I grew up on a reservation and I'm an attorney and I'm a fucking I'm just an argumentative type of guy, just
Yeah.
genuine. Right. So like, sometimes, and we'll take it out of the fashion industry because I'm not trying to get you to fuck up your career by saying some crazy shit on this fucking show.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. But the point of the matter is sometimes I see like, business owners in other areas say like, once this shit breaks out, right? Once enough people finally got on camera that cops are killing black people, right? People of color, and the shit breaks out. Then all of a sudden, like Starbucks, Howard Schultz is like, hey, listen, how do we want to be a better partner? And like in my mind, I'm always like, yeah, now you want to be a better partner to capitalize on some shit, motherfucker, because you don't want to get your shit burned down next.
Yeah.
But like, what's the real like and then I also acknowledge that there are a lot of business owners who are not racist and they're just doing their thing. They might not be super political, but that might be because they're just trying to build their business and trying to do whatever they're trying to do. Where's the, like, for you, when somebody like calls you up and they might even be way out of perspective, because it's almost crazy to call someone up. Like, hey, how do I talk to black people?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I got some working for me, but I've never actually talked to them. But how do we? So how do you handle all that, or what are your thoughts on that?
So here's where I think people, and this is just the reality of life, right? Like, and I don't think most people are racist. I honestly don't believe that. I think the problem is they're not exposed. So like, if you're not, like, I'm still in these streets, like I'm still talking to kids in the streets daily. And so I have a very unique perspective of the life that different types of people live. Like I have friends I have a friend who just bought a $50 million house in Miami. And then I have a friend who's, waiting for the stimulus check, right? Like,
right.
And that gives me perspective. And so when I talk to my friends who are in these powerful positions to help society, they just don't know, right? They don't understand systemic racism because they didn't experience it or they were never around it their whole life. So, there's a white business owner that called me in a different industry. And he was just like, I was always aware. I just did not understand it till I really read up on it. And he was like, I'm going to make some real fucking changes, not only in my business, but my community. And he started leaning on me of like, okay, how should I be thinking about it to be progressive, to actually make an impact? I don't want to just write a check and say, I gave to fucking Black Lives Matter movement. Here's $100,000. It's like, no, I'm like, because when they would ask me, friends would ask me like, where should I donate? I'm like, no. We're not playing that game right now. I need to see your fucking staff. Show me your staff. Show me. Do you have diversity in your staff? Do you have black this? Do you have black that? Do you have Latino this? Do you have Latino that? Like, why is it so hard? Like as someone who's experienced life fully, I've met all walks of life. Everyone's fucking smart. You never even looked at that pool of people as an option for your staff. And I think like those things make way bigger of an impact than writing a check. So for example, what I'd started was last year, I started an incubator program called Next Up. And it's all about giving Black designers a shot. I mean, take streetwear. Take TikTok, one of the most valuable companies on earth now. They have just exploited Black music and become bigger than Black music, right? If there wasn't rap, TikTok wouldn't exist. And so I looked at my business and I said, what is the most impactful thing I can do? So I launched a program where we are giving all of our services as a company free to one designer a year. You get access to all my vendors, access to my accounting, my legal, my whatever I have, my warehouse, me, my team. You come to LA, you sit here, and we help you build your business for a year. And then it was like the Bible quote where you teach a man to fish, and that's the biggest thing that I can offer to people. And that's what I wanted to teach my colleagues as entrepreneurs. I'm like, it's not about writing a check or just reading a book. It's actually just giving opportunity, right? You just give people the opportunity. They're going to go most people are going to take advantage of it and go do something great with it. We just have to like give people that normally, and it's not just a race thing. It's also like a socioeconomic thing. I think that's
Sure.
really the main problem, is that like
Right.
people from low income backgrounds
Right.
don't even get a shot. Like I gave this kid this amazing story, and maybe Lucky remembers him. This is like in 2006, 2007. This kid emails me and goes, "Hey man, I'm from Indiana. Like white kid, hip hopped out, was like, I want to come and work for you. You're my favorite brand." And I was like, all right, where do you live? He's like, Indiana. Well, I'm in LA, man. I can't help you if you don't come out here. This fucker one day shows up in front of my office and he was like, I will literally take out the trash. I'm like, great, let's start there. Took out the trash.
Right.
And he's just sat there and sat there and sat there and learned the apparel business. Now him and his wife have like, they're in the creative space. They have an agency. They're doing great things. They have a beautiful children. They've built a family for himself. And I could tell you countless stories where I just gave someone an opportunity and we realize, oh, they're no different than the kid from USC or the kid that went to Harvard. It really comes down to like opportunity in life. And I think those are things that like, when I put pressure on my colleagues, I'm like, put away the resume for a second and have a conversation with the person, because you might find from the person that this person's actually incredible and they just haven't been given a shot.
Right.
And by the way, this has backfired on me plenty of times too, but I'll still continue to do it because I know that that's making an impact in society.
I thought that you were gonna say, and that white kid from Indiana, his name was Tom Ford.
Well, when I said wife, that should have thrown you off.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, because you're of Indian descent, and so in a race situation, do you feel like because of that, that's put you in an in-between situation where people who are like white or whatever feel comfortable to come to you to mediate a scene? And on the flip side, people who are African American or Latin can come to you first to mediate the scene. Do you like that position, or do you sometimes feel like burdened by that?
No, I actually think being an Indian today is the best ethnic group to be, because we're welcomed in white America,
Right,
and we're welcomed in minority America, right? Because they view as we are a part of them. We've slid into a nice little position in society as a group of people that I think is very advantageous, and this is why you're seeing very successful Indian people. The CEO of Google, CEO of Microsoft, and you can go down the list of mega companies. CEO of Gap are now all Indian people, and I think, I'm hopeful that will break down the barriers for all brown people and all Black people over time.
right.
But there's more Indian CEOs per capita than any other race. Why is that? Like, I would say we're a highly educated, we're an educated group of people, but we've just found a sweet spot as a race. Like, we're not threatening to people, so people just welcome us in. That's just the real answer of why that's happened.
Interesting. That's fascinating. Let me ask you this. Okay, so what's a book that you love or you like? What are you reading or what have you read that you like that you could recommend to people?
I'm not a big reader, but there's two books that I always tell everyone to read, which are Shoe Dog, which is the story of Phil Knight. It's an incredible story of how he started Nike. And then the other book is the Walter Isaac biography on Steve Jobs. And I like that book for a very different reason. Shoe Dog, I love it for the story, the journey of what Phil Knight did to build Nike. It's just fascinating. And how long it took. And then the Steve Jobs book, I particularly enjoy it for the end of the book, which is actually quite sad, which is where he is dying. And, that's when he finally starts to make amends with his daughter. And it just teaches you like all that, most men idolize Steve Jobs. And to me, like, being successful and being rich and being innovative is cool, but like, what are you going to remember at the end? You're going to remember your kids, you're going to remember your relationships. And I just think that like when you read these books about these titans of industry, the part about the family always gets them. Like Phil Knight always talks like one of his kids passed and he was like, I fucking regret working all that hard and didn't get to spend time with him. And so my perspective has really changed, you know, as I had kids about time and where I want to spend my life.
Okay. And then what is, for music wise, what is a guilty pleasure music where you're like, fuck?
I have a wide range. I like Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and Sam Cooke. I listen to those religiously. But then I love give me a Atlanta strip club rapper, and I love that too.
Like that dirty sound? You like that Nelly?
Yeah.
Will you roll? Will you rock Nelly?
Yeah, I love Nelly in college and all that stuff. But I'm talking about like give me any little whatever on TikTok that's popping.
Yeah.
I fuck with all that stuff. I love it.
And then
A little Manio. This guy used to put Manio on, dude, and get the whole fucking, and then boom, and then we have a fucking Stevie Nicks, motherfucking Sarah, dude. Like, Dee's got a great musical fucking. He's just got great musical taste, man. He knows what the pump up jams are.
What about movies or documentaries? Like, what are ones that you really like?
Honestly, the thing that I don't like anything too serious. Life is too serious. So I just enjoy something I like Seinfeld. Like, honestly, yeah, like I want something lighthearted. I like dumb rom-coms. I want to be laughed and entertained. Like my daily life is so hectic and stressful that if I have time to watch television, I want to laugh.
And then let me ask you this. What is the best dessert? Like, if you're gonna fucking say fuck it, I'm gonna eat some dessert, motherfucker. What's
Dee Reese chocolate chip cookie?
Nice.
Hey, D, I got just my last couple.
Go ahead.
D, you're running. What suggestions do you have, advice do you have for all of our runners out there? People that run.
But running, I mean, running is my passion. Running is my meditation. I think the biggest, I think everyone should run. The key to being a runner, get the right pair of shoes and your life will change. If you get the wrong pair of shoes, and it's really based on your foot, right?
But
so
your foot, you run
mine's Hoka. There's a brand called Hoka that I run in. I've ran a marathon in it. I've ran several half marathons in it. And it's just a perfect shoe for me. And I got told to wear a half size bigger when I was an avid runner, or a full size bigger. And it changed my knees used to hurt when I ran. Now I can run any distance and my legs don't hurt because I have the right shoes. And it was as simple as fixing that problem.
Anytime you're gonna do like one of those David Goggins crazy marathons, those 100-milers or whatever those are.
If I was retired and had time, I would do that. But you have to have time to train.
Is there anything that because we're going to start wrapping up now, what should we keep on, what do you want people to know, like as far as like business wise, is there anything coming up or you want our listeners to check out?
Check out the subscription service today is called Menlo Club. I still think what we're doing there is extremely special. We have customers now that have been with us for more than 5 years. So, check that out. And then you'll get exposure to all of our brands there. And it's an inexpensive way to look good, feel good, and have like a little treat for yourself every month.
I love it. Menlo Club. How do they find it?
So if you go to themenlohouse.com and hit join the club, you'll see kind of our offering. And you can use the code GameStop.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a pretty sizable discount on your first package.
That's awesome. Menlo Club. We're gonna start letting people know.
Thank you, brother.
Get out to Menlo Club. D, just thanks, man. You're definitely somebody that's on my radar. When when I need help in this thing, man, I know I can call this guy, man. I just appreciate you, and I appreciate all your knowledge, everything you've shared with me, and working with you, and
Right.
and it's just like you're that guy, and I'm glad you could come on the show today and share some of that with us.
Right. And Dee, thank you very much. And by the way, my inbox just flooded up with all of our listeners. I've got a lot of white listeners in North Dakota. They all want a job. So I'm going to forward them on to you.
Yeah.
They're going to show up tomorrow asking to take out the trash.
Yeah.
And again, thank you. I love the access that you gave, and I love a lot of your answers because they were genuine, fucking real, bro. And I love that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. That was a fun conversation.
Yeah, my brother.
Hey, if you need an attorney, Ovando Bone.
Yeah.
LLP.
He's got like 20 in the Rolodex.
That's all right.
I
He
always
got
need
the right one. He doesn't got one that'll wear braids to court.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
I'm always looking for new attorneys.
All right, there it is. There.
All right.
You got anything, Sean?
Come on. All your audio needs. Sean at hardluckshow.com. Hey, D, if you ever want to start doing your own music, that's your beats guy right there,
Yeah,
Sean.
All right. Let's do it.
I want to give a shout out to the Soul Assassins. Shout out to my brother Esteban Oreo and everybody at Supermax Hardware, supermaxhardware.com, Big Burn and Cookies family, Vibes family, and everybody in the city of Santa Monica.
Right on. I just did all my blow ups or whatever. Go to my Instagram, check out my fucking poetry and my Chumahan _. I also record when I run motivational talks while I'm running because I'm a runner too. I'm a runner too.
Nice.
10 miles every morning.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Like we do about this time. Adios, amigos from the Hard Luck Show.